gonna be, Brother Wallace. All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, I'm gonna go without the bright lights right here, but y'all feeling good?
Yes.
Good. Well, this is most of everybody in here. Everybody in here got a check. That's, give yourself a round of applause. That is the one thing I want you to base. You know, we get our weekly bonus checks. Y'all understand that? That's an important check. But you get a monthly check, and that's the residual or the retirement check. You know, and I want everyone to value that check. So as I go to the trustee board over here, I really want everybody to understand. Let me tighten you up real quick. It's too strong right now. That side. So I really want everybody to understand the basic concept of the business. Do y'all know that we all talk about three people, right?
Yes.
So as we do this, I want us to kind of get it to realize that it's a purpose for the three people. And once you get the concept, that check is the equivalent of saying, okay, in the last 60 days, because it's not from this class in the last 60 days. So basically the first orders, here we are, June 15th. So now what you do in June, you skip a month, so your August check, if you go clown in June, you can retire in August. One of the things that we wanted, that's why we did that 8-week program where everybody go get 3. You will find that whether it is a little check or a big check, the checks come. That's actually the jump for joy mode right there. You know how the word says, if you can take care of the little, he'll bless you with much. So we have to be mindful that, okay, our system is very simple. It all starts with you. We get that, right? No matter how you think, you know, it just hit me this morning as I was saying some things. I was like, you know what, don't worry about what other people think about you. Because when you worry about what they think, that's when they take ownership of you. And they start controlling you from that standpoint. So you'll have to conquer the fear of man's opinion in order for you to get what you want out of life. Meaning, I like nice things. Is that safe to say? I mean, I really do. I like nice stuff. So I've realized that I can go and start talking about a Gulfstream jet or a Falcon 900 private jet. And people will look and they're like, yeah, but that's not important in life. I'm like, in whose opinion? Do y'all get what I'm saying? How can someone say what is or what is not important to you when it's your dream? You know, so I like to stretch my wings in my house. So I like pillars in my house. I like looking out over the deck and seeing the kids in the pool. You know, I like watching the kids drag race on their four-wheelers yesterday in the street. And it's just like, you know, they come get PJ, they get on a golf cart, next thing I know they out there, and then next thing you know, PJ like, can I get my four-wheeler? I'm like, yeah. Saying he running through the yard, and I'm just like, that is a lifestyle. Number one, only thing I can tell you about is projects from my childhood. You get the difference? So I can tell you how we used to make cardboard sleds. Meaning in the wintertime, we get the cardboard boxes, and that was our sleds. So buying a sled, this cardboard box to do. And we would be going down, especially right after Christmas, and everybody had nice cardboard boxes, and we really liked the ones that was colored, you know, because that was a slick side. So we really liked them. So you get on that little cardboard box, and that gets you 5, 6, 7 runs, you know, before it start ripping apart. That was it. So you learn to appreciate the cardboard box lifestyle. So people sometimes look at your lifestyle today, but they don't look and understand the struggles of yesterday. That you too started something and you had a vision and an idea of what you wanted for your life. And then you said, okay, I'm gonna do my part. Now the system tells me I need to go get 3 other people to do the same thing that I need to do. Meaning, let's look at it this way. Let's not think network marketing. Let's not think business for a moment. You need to get 3 like-minded individuals. Does that make sense? Meaning, if I go to 3 of my friends who still want to stay on the cardboard sleds, and I talk to them about a house with a pool and kids having 4-wheelers and a lifestyle, they would they might get religious on me. When I say that, because, you know, some people say, well, you know, that don't get you in heaven. And I'm like, yeah, we know that. Why you bring God into this? No, there's a lot of stuff that ain't going to get you into heaven. There's some broke folks. Let me put this disclaimer. There's a whole bunch of broke folks that's going to hell. Just as much as rich folks is going to hell too. Y'all get that? So really, that's never had any weight towards me when they say that, because I say, well, if you're actually being obedient, you got to understand there's some integrity and principle. If you're actually being obedient, then by default, you'll increase. So when some people say, wow, that's a big house, if I'm looking at a 10,000, 15,000 square footer, 20,000 square footer, if I go to Shaq, who lives in, Shaquille O'Neal, somebody think it's ironic his name is Shaq. I'm talking about no Shaq. But if I go to Shaquille O'Neal, Dr. O'Neal, then his house is 35,000 square feet. You get the difference? So I might be like, man, I can get this 12,000 square foot house, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And he's like, I can fit 3 times. Fit your house and mine 3 times. So would I go, man, why you need a house that big? You get my point? It's all in how you think. Everything is a thought process. How do you think? Do you think, I said something cold this morning, and I got to elaborate on it. I might remember, but see, I motivate myself too. So I said a great opportunity in the hands of the wrong leader will always look like a bad opportunity and look like it's not working. That was just one of them. Here's the one. When your thoughts are laced with fear, jealousy, and envy of others, when your thoughts are laced with fear and jealousy and envy of others, you are thinking like a demon. So be mindful of how you think. See, I just sit down and you get to thinking of your thoughts. When you look at something else, you start telling a person what they don't need or what they better do for you. You know what I mean? And start putting yourself at a valuable level that God didn't say. Then it's like, well, no, the scripture said just go, give, and God will provide. Y'all get that? Anytime you think otherwise, you're thinking like a demon. Does that make sense? So I know it kind of gets kind of deep when people go that route, they don't want to hear all that. And I'm like, well, let me just hit you with it. So, as we're talking about thinking, when you think right, you automatically will look at people in a different way because you're thinking right. Y'all with me? So, when you think right, you want to get 3 people who also are in their right mind. Y'all heard that said before, you out your mind. Or this person's in their right mind. You get that? So you get some people who think out of their mind, and you get some people who think with the right mind. You need to get people who think with the right mind. Because those with the right mind will make a declaration, and then they will fulfill the declaration. Like I did a idea a month ago, and I put 5 people on the phone call. 3 aren't here, 2 are. And I said, for the next 30 to 60 days, let's do something. I believe if we all stick to this, in 30 days, this is what will happen. To do that, that means a lot of other things will come up. I promise you. Stuff comes up. It's like you've seen, I forgot the other computer, little dude runs it in here, he goes about his business because I was messing up his playtime. You know? But then you got to say, value. Do you think with value? Because if you think with value, then certain ideas will come from that. If you think with no value, then you would devalue any idea. Does that make sense? So you either value, excuse me, you know, you either value, that's what happened when I don't get my coffee in the morning. I had a short fault. Now she told me, she said, I'll go get you some. I'm good. My throat is like, nope, nope. So when you're thinking with the right mindset, my phone working now, so let me turn it off. This whole time, you see, I'm gonna tell y'all, I texted my wife because I knew she had some other stuff to do, and there's enough time. And I left, and I said, hey, I forgot to bring the computer back. Sorry to bother you. Grab it, bring it to the hotel for me. I get here, you know, because I get here bright and early. And I look at, my car's still parked funny out there. That's how off my mind was. They'll be all right. The key's right there if they need to come get it. But in the reality, I'm looking at the AT&T cellular systems down. And I'm like, what? So everybody was on AT&T was just completely out. Now, I had no phone service yesterday, so you know I'm calling AT&T because my bill is all right. And I'm like, hey, you have to give me some off because you ain't doing right. So, still, I called her at her mom's house and said, babe, I forgot the computer. People are going to be watching online. So those of you who can see me online today, we went through some things for you to see me. So pay close attention, Marquise L. Williams. We did it for you, dog. So from here is, if you don't think with value, you think valuable. If you don't think valuable, then the efforts that it takes to get these people won't have value either. Does that make sense? If you think with value, then now the efforts to go get these people who also think with values won't seem like work. Because now you have a dream and a goal. I'm going to put more of a goal than just a dream. So, you think, you have values, you have a goal. Every person's goal, that's 90% of goals today, are connected to some form of financial. You know, sometimes you just have a goal to lose weight, that still is connected to finances, so I can't even count that in. You know, but most goals are connected in some way or form to finances. You get this? So, if you put out all your goals and know where you're going, then the effort. Let me write this word up here so we don't miss it. Y'all spell it right, Wallace? Dr. Franklin? Effort. E-F-F-O-R-T?
Yes, sir.
All right, okay. I got scholars in here. I don't want to embarrass myself. Now, when you think, values, you got goals, you put in the effort. Does this make sense? You also are working the plan. Without a goal, there's no use for working the plan. You get this? The reason why you can go in certain neighborhoods and you see Cassius out sitting on the porch doing nothing, it's because they have no goal, and people who don't have a goal never make a plan. And usually, when something comes up because they had no plan, they take the wrong effort to get what they want to get. So, nothing in life just happens, although we all make it appear to have just happened. but it is more so you thinking with values, having a goal, executing a plan, then you put in the effort. When you do this, your efforts will take on the form of great motivation, because you will have to motivate and inspire to get people to realize that they need to think with some form of a value for their goal, then work their plan and put in the effort. So we know if those three produce their three like they're supposed to, they all think alike. Now we know that you have 9 more people. My whole teachings and trainings have all been based on 3 people working with 3. So there's 9 total. That's it. I believe that one individual can break a city. When I say break a city, open up a city with James net worth and say, okay, you are here. All we want you to do is bring 3 people in your area. Make sure they think similar. Make sure they value what we have. Make sure they have their own personal goal, and make sure that they know the plan. Then they will put in the effort. So therefore, if we have 10 cities and one person in each city that says, I'm getting my 3. And then now they culture, they inspire, they motivate those 3 to get 3. There'll be a group of 9. Myself, William, we go to those cities. We help that group of 12 individuals because we understand the value of it. Y'all get this? It's not about the much. Most people miss out on the big paycheck because they're focused on the big paycheck. Nah. You got to focus on that little check. You got to focus on those little things. You got to, that's why Jesus himself said, look at this mustard seed and believe in this little seed. And then, because most people tell themselves they don't have enough to finish. So therefore, if you look at your provisions as not enough, then you will never make it. You have to look at your little as enough and then say, okay, do you think your little is enough? Then value your little. Have a goal to know where you want to go. That goal is house. People are like, don't be materialistic. Shut up. House, car, kids' education, clothes, going out to eat, ordering in. Come on, can't nobody order in better than us? You get this. Lifestyle is what I'm talking about. We are all going to leave this planet. No one said not have integrity and not keep God's laws. In fact, if you're keeping God's law, this is simpler. Because when you fall, you'll get back up. Because that's called hope and faith. Because you believe that you'll make it to an area that others don't believe. That's why they say, hey, call those things that be not as though they were. I call myself rich. Now that I spoke it, I have to walk it. You know, I have faith over these little things. Although it's unseen, I'm going to keep my hope alive, so in the end, I have it. Y'all get this? So I like when you see Hebrews 11:1, I love Hebrews 11:2, because it tells you, for that is how the elders obtained a great testimony. Meaning they had faith in the unseen, they kept their hope alive, nothing had happened yet, but they now have a testimony of what happened because they followed directions of working with hope and faith, and nothing was going on. So I urge us to understand how simple our business model is so that we don't complicate it. We have 2 products. And these 2 products, one people are going to consume, and the other is basically a law and thrown upon you. The law one is you have to pay taxes. So therefore, you might as well just use the system to pay taxes and get the best tax counsel. The other that's just dumped upon you is credit. you have a credit score whether you like it or not. So seeing on you have no control over that, then you might as well get in control and monitor what you don't have control over. If someone can say, I can judge you, although we know don't judge us, but I can judge you and put a score on you. You know, it's funny, I realized one day, and I ain't gonna write this message yet, but people were so worried when I was young, there was a church across the street, and I remember they were always talking about, be mindful of the mark of the beast, be mindful of the mark of the beast, them 3 letters. It's 3 letters, or 3 numbers in the credit score. And I was like, well, that feels like that's condemning me to hell at times, right? So I look at things so critical and so deep, and I say, wow. But this score says I'm getting straight A's if I abide in certain ways. So therefore, when you look at it, it says, hey, do not go into more debt than you can handle. All right, we need a debt payoff plan here. You get this? It's like, make sure that no one can talk about you in a bad way. So do yourself to keep a good name. All right, I need to monitor my name, my credit score. Well, pay Caesar was due Caesar, right? Well, I need to pay these taxes then. And don't follow to pay if you can't pay, which can go for a daily budget tracker and the debt payoff. So I get this and I say, wow, we got that service. And it's $30 a month. So I want y'all to think about something. And it's always hit me. When we first started the JMB Network system in my financial service, I just said, okay, there'd be 10,000 people on the service within no time. I'm like, because 10,000 people have debt, 10,000 people have bad credit, 10,000 people need out, but 10,000 people are not thinking. Forget this. You must help the 10,000 think. You must help the 10,000 value. You must help the 10,000 make a goal. You must help the 10,000 plan, because that is what makes you a leader. Does it make sense? If you don't do the things that makes you a leader, then it affects the efforts. So that means sometimes you're going to get some who are going to want to slow down or quit. One thing I promise you, I will never grab a person and drag them to success. That's too much work. I would just counsel them. And then I would say, I'm going this way. And you must understand, when you are going to a level that most men or women have never been before, it gets kind of shaky. It gets kind of quiet. Imagine walking into a dark room. You've never been in that room before. And there's a guy saying, take 2 steps forward, then stop. Now go sideways 2 steps. Stop. But the room is pitch black. But there is a light that you can see behind you to say, go back to where you came from. But what's in front of you, you're told is your freedom. You're told is the lifestyle you desire. But this voice that's speaking, you don't know anyone that's ever spoke that voice before. You don't know anyone personally who's ever went that far before. So even when you meet someone who's been there, they say, no, it's just a few simple steps. Do the few simple steps and you'll make it. What people don't realize is you take those first 2 steps. You take those side 2 steps. Then 2 more steps forward, you're done. That's it. Most people are like, oh, now you got to take 2 more forward. But remember, it's pitch dark. There's people behind you saying, I heard. It's the mind game.
Nobody ever made it.
Yeah, it's the mind game. Me coaching my little guy. He's sitting with the tee. I'm sitting behind him like a catcher. And I was telling him, I said, all right, get ready to swing, buddy. Get ready to swing. He's like, you weak. Right when you swing, like, Dad! I was like, what? Come on, line up, get set. Focus on the ball, focus on the ball. You're like, you ain't gonna hit it anyway. Dad! I said, well, that's what catching do in a real ball game. They talk about your mama, your girlfriend. They say they slept with her. They do all this stuff. When you're playing in a real game, don't you dare think that that catcher is sitting there with his mouth shut. You get it? They know they have to get in your head. The catcher even say, because he knows it's coming inside, he's like, I told him to hit you. Now, if you're listening, it's a curveball that's going to come inside and it's going to come back into the strike zone. But because you just heard him say, I told him to hit you with this 80 miles per hour, 90 miles per hour pitch, when it's coming at you, not knowing it, that's why you got to stay in the batter's box. You jump out, strike, and you're like, It's like, no, you don't listen to him. So now I taught him, ignore me, keep going. Next thing you know, bang, bang, and I'm talking on kind of terrible at Mario Kart. Bang, I'm gonna beat you a skyline. Bang, he's like, no, you ain't. And I said, that's where I want you to be. He's like, why? Y'all know what made Jordan so successful at basketball? He would frazzle them. That's why so many of them, he stopped driving up the middle because they just started trying to beat him up because they couldn't stop him. And he mastered that fadeaway jump. He had to because he had talked so much stuff that he had to come baseline and come with something else. You be mindful when you're in that dark area. Somebody's going to be talking crazy. William will quit on you. Paulie just going to take all the money and run. They're going to do all this stuff. Them brothers just sitting there hustling. They're going to say all that. You really ain't going to make it. You just making them rich. All of that. You know why? When I was a rep, it's the same things that were said to me. Like, you don't even know this dude, man. How do you know this dude? You out here working for him like this. I'm working for the dude now? That's what my boy Troy, he said, hey, you out here working for Daryl like this? The guy that brought me in Excel, company I was with. I said, no, I ain't working for this dude. Man, I can't tell. I'm like, you gave him money and you working for him. You owe. For real. That's what they tell me, you owe. I'm just like, 3 people, man, gone. What I made, and the company said, this guy has made $1 million faster than pretty much anyone in the company. It's like, oh, Paulie, we knew you could do it. You was always hustling. Really? Really? You knew I could do it, huh? Newsflash. The fear that some people have of you succeeding exposes their weakness. You must be mindful. To gain financial wealth at this level, some friends will quit on you. They will be done with you. They want to invite you to meetings. They want to invite you to house parties. They're done. That's fine. Because you need to know who they are anyway. Before you get the big money, you don't need them running up and finding you out your paper. But you must be mindful that you just put the effort in. It's just 3 people. That means sit down and counsel those 3 individuals. Sit down and get to know them. See if they're serious. If they're not serious, let them go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, in doing so, with just one customer, you could be making $5,000 a month with My Financial Wealth. If you build a system with just one customer, that would add on another $5,000 a month. So now you're at 10. So let's say in the future, as I've said, we come with value worth, whether it's electricity or something else. You know, that's just one more. Everyone turns on. It's another $5,000 a month. Then we come out with mental worth. It's like, what? So that increases you another $5,000 a month. This is $20,000 a month residual. Either 4 different products from 4 different services. We only have 2 now. Or you just go and get the 10,000 people on My Financial Service that need. In other words, where we're going to is going to happen. Somebody's going to say, you know what, all I got to do is focus on my 3 to get 3. And then now, because you're connected to those 3 who are connected to their 3, no one's ever seen 3, 9, 27, 81, because that becomes a distraction sometimes. What they need to see is what's right in front of them. What you take care of that's in front of you is what makes you wealthy. Because I can't control those people over here. I can't control what that man said about me. I can't control what that lady said about me. I can't control if this person wants to quit. I can't control if somebody stopped believing. But what I can do is I can work with the 3 in front of me. And I can teach those 3 to teach their 3. And then be mindful if they stop doing what they said. We need to be able to go 30 days of all out commitment. If your goal could use $20,000 a month. If your goal would be $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month is the average income for 2. For 2 people. So that means a husband and wife, if they both hate their day jobs, that husband and wife should be kings and queens in this business. Now, as you senior directors, you got a trip. You get an extra $1,500 a month on top of that. You have an Escalade. And with that much volume, you probably have, if you need a Benz. You don't have a car payment, but you got 2 cars. I want you to think about this. Now I'm talking about value. You don't have a car payment, but you have 2 cars, because we built the system right. You get $1,500 a month lifestyle money, or you can just use it to pay for your local hotel meetings and do whatever else to build your business. You get this, whether it's ads and papers or whatever. You get a vacation. You probably take it more than just the one that the company gives, but it's still cool to have that one that you know that you ain't got to pay for. You get that? Even if you take that trip and then ball out and add on to it, well then the value of that trip, you can still subtract from what you add on to the trip. Does it make sense? In other words, it's a win-win situation. And if you think like me, you realize that, okay, if I want a private jet and I want to go from here to Chicago, I mean, not from here to LA or New York or someplace like that, $7,500. We just go. You know, it's like there's a window there. You're like, here's more away from me. See, I don't think buy airline tickets. I think buy the jet, charter the jet. You get the difference? My plan has that in it. My plan doesn't have go and beat up Delta Airlines and Northwest or wherever they used to be. It doesn't have go and haggle Sun Country. It has, look, I need to know the name of the pilot on a first name basis. You get this? Lifestyle. I believe we all can live this lifestyle if we desire to. I truly believe it. My goal is to say, hey, if you do it right, you're at $50,000, $60,000 a month. If you do it wrong, you should be at $5,000 a month. But we know it takes effort. It does. It takes investments, but it takes you to think, have values, have goals, plan, be a leader, and then execute your plan. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, I get to bring up the true man of the hour, Executive Senior Director, who's pretty much done everything. Like, watch this cool. We can't have you falling. We need you, brother. You know, he's done it all. You know, everything I talked about. I just want you to appreciate him because knowledge is power. Do y'all get this? And when some people have accomplished great things in life, we must pay attention to it so that we can benefit from it all. That's awesome. So y'all welcome Executive Senior Director, Mr. William Locke.
I hope you all truly, grasp what he was sharing up here. And, every time I get ready to come before you guys. I just, want to get an understanding. We need to, oh, you switched it. Get an understanding, what it is that God would have me to share. So, I just seek that wisdom. And pretty much what he just covered is what came to my spirit. Because we can teach you all kinds of things week after week. But until we actually get you to think like business owners, it's just information being thrown at you. So that's why we always come from a point of view of self-development. And so the thing that was on my heart, was about this thought here. So you got employee mindset, right? Business owner, okay? And so you see a lot of people that are employees that work for companies, 20, 30 years out of their life for retirement that on average is what, about $1,500 a month?
Mm-hmm.
And as business owners, we're talking about working hard for the next 3 to 5 years so that you can make thousands, okay? Put 10K, okay, per month. Now, a strange but wonderful thought crossed my mind the other day when I opened up my check from JMG. Before I opened up the check, all of a sudden it just hit my spirit that one day you're going to be opening up these envelopes. There's going to be checks for $50,000 or more in this envelope. Now, it wasn't $50,000 when I opened it up that day, but I was so excited because the process works and I had a check, regardless of the dollar amount, but I know the potential is there to create a check for over $50,000 a month. So again, we have people that will work 20 to 30 years to make $1,500 a month in retirement. But we're saying work hard for the next 3 to 5 years to make over $10,000 a month. But you'll find so many people that will fight you tooth and nail to defend this system.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than stepping out on faith and taking some action to create a better future for themselves. See, there's certainty here. We know that this is what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no certainty here. I mean, it could be more, could be less. But at least there's a greater possibility than there is here. But so many people invest their lives here. In Brother Paulie's example of his friends when they told him that, he was being used by this individual. He didn't use those words, but being used by this individual. But what I heard was he made a decision and did something different than his friends did. If you take a snapshot of before and after, see the same amount of time transpired. They did nothing different, and their lives are the same. Mm-hmm. He did something different, his life changed. Y'all get that? The same process of time is still going to go by. But it's just a matter of what you do in between to change the possibility or the outcome for your future. I hope y'all get that.
I get it.
And I tell you, I'm just in such a good place in life, because I haven't always been here. So, this is uncharted territory. So I understand, I feel that walking in the dark room concept, okay? And I just to share this personal testimony, so I hope your spirits are right, so you receive it in the correct light. Because I don't mind sharing personal stuff about me, because I share it because I don't see myself no different than y'all. That's why I'm here with you, committed to you, working with you day in and day out. Because I'm excited for the possibility of your futures.
That's right.
Because I understand and I know that we have something of substance and something real. Isn't that right, Brother Wallace? Brother Wallace would call me several times. I don't ever answer, be assured or nothing. I'm like, oh, call me when you need me. Because I'm here to help you because I understand the power of what we have. Okay? So now I understand that you see this in the right spirit. Because I haven't always been where I'm at in life. I always knew that I could be, but I wasn't there. So I was just walking in faith. And so it's just a joyful feeling to not have to stress about finances. Now, I never stress because I always had blind faith. Okay? I always believed. But to actually arrive one day where you really don't have those pressures, it's such a joyful feeling. In fact, I called Brother Paul and just shared that with him the other day because, for the first time I realized, how it feels to have enough. You hear about people, that, they don't need no loans, they don't need no money, but then people are always trying to throw money at them.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand that. Seemed like, well, I need some money and I have a real need and I think that I qualify and I got a good idea, but you won't give me no money. So it seemed like the people that need money can't get money. So the other day, come home and I see an envelope and it's from the state of Minnesota. And I'm like, okay, well, this must just be my certificate for the new company I just started. So I open it up. It's a $1,500 check. And I'm like, for a, you get those mailers in the mail, to say respond to this because you're part of this lawsuit, and most of the time you just ignore that kind of stuff. You think it might be some scam or some, some type of trick to get your information from you. Well, I responded. It was a mortgage company that had that. It might have even been one of them foreclosed mortgages. Mm-hmm. As a result of their practices, and I responded to the mailer, I qualified for a $1,500 check. Mm-hmm. So also that day, I had received some mail, and it said that I was pre-approved for a $100,000 loan. I said, okay, yeah, right. So I called and I inquired, and I really didn't need no money, but I said, you know what, I just want to test and see how real this process is. So I said, well, give me $5,000. Well, we can't, that's too low. I said, well, it's $10,000. Give me $10,000. How long you need? I don't need it. That's what I kept telling the guy, I don't need it. I, give it right back to you in 24 hours. I just want to see if it's real. They was like, Mr. Lockett, you know what? You can qualify for as much as you want. And when you want it, just call us and we'll take you through the process and get you your money. And I'm saying, like, I understand now. When you don't need it, people will try to give it to you. And I'm sitting like, Lord, I thank you that I'm finally at a place in life where I don't feel the pressure. I don't need to stress out. That it is all right. So it's such a good feeling. And that's the feeling I want to help others to arrive at. Because you don't want to stress about nothing in life. You want to be able to enjoy your life to the fullest. You want to be able to, take the vacations when you desire to be able to be a blessing to somebody when you want to, not to be a slave to life. And so that's what I see this business as. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. Because I understand that as an entrepreneur, that there's a process that we must go through. There's a process that we have to go through in terms of achieving the things that we want out of life. So let's get into that. An employee mindset versus an entrepreneur mindset. Now, I've done this training before, but the word says faith come by hearing and hearing by. Because I want you. I need you. You need you. Your future needs you to think like a business owner. And when you think like a business owner and you treat this like your business and you give it that respect of being a business, then there's a mental change that takes place. You don't get discouraged. You don't listen to the naysayers because you cannot. Because you have to realize that they subscribe to a different plan. Now, we're talking about 20 to 30 years or 3 to 5 years. Working this plan, by the time you retire, you may not even be able to enjoy it. So even if you get $1,500 a month, a lot of that's going to go towards medical expenses, okay? But this way, you could begin to enjoy it a lot sooner, okay? So there's a fine line between having an entrepreneur mindset and employee mindset. Let's see if you notice the difference. Entrepreneurs are willing to risk it all. Employees prefer to play it safe and stay off the radar. Entrepreneurs can adjust to what society dictates. Employees flow right along with the mainstream. Years ago, a college fraternity brother told me that, you know what, you won't make it in corporate America.
Mhm.
And I was actually offended. Because I'm like, who are you to tell me what I can't do? And it offended me because I'm there in college to get a degree to work in corporate America. And so, until I realized later on in life, is that regardless of what he saw, it's what I see and what I believe. He is absolutely correct. Whatever personal motivation made him say that, I don't care about. But he's absolutely correct. I cannot make it in corporate America. Not because I'm not qualified, but because I'm not cut out for that. Because I see myself on the same level as a CEO. And as an employee, they're not going to pay me on that level.
Mm-hmm.
So as an entrepreneur, I'd rather take control of my destiny, control of my future, so that I can roll the dice, so that I can put myself in a position that at least has a potential of making CEO level money. Okay? So there's definitely a different, thought process. So for those of you who have jobs, not to go into work and start to challenge your boss, but to have a mindset and say, you know what? I deserve this type of lifestyle. So therefore, I'm going to appreciate where I'm at now. But then I'm going to work my business like I see and understand the future and the possibility of my future through my JMG business. Entrepreneurs make the rules, employees follow rules. Entrepreneurs make the jobs that employees work at. Employees work at their job. Entrepreneurs want to help people as much as possible. Employees typically look out for themselves and what benefits them. Entrepreneurs make the jobs that employees run. Neither can exist without the other.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, Charles said something during the training, and he was showing the difference between employees and employers. And he said something that really stuck to me, is that, we need people that work at McDonald's. We need people to work in the system. So as a business owner, I need employees. And if I had everybody employed by me thinking like me, then I wouldn't have the people I need in order to work the system I created. Y'all understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, respect each role. But because we're like-minded in this room, and because you're not satisfied, and because you want more, we want to assist you and help you to achieve more. Okay? But understand is that when you're an employee, you're actually working somebody else's system that they created for their benefit and their enjoyment. But if you want that same level of enjoyment, then you can't just continue to function in life as an employee-minded individual. You have to function as an entrepreneur. But not only that, but you have to be willing to do some work. See, I'm not into empty dreams. I'm not into wishful thinking.
Right.
I'm into living. I'm into enjoying. I'm into experiencing it now. Brother Paulie was saying that, that mindset that said, well, you can't take it with you. It won't help you to get into heaven. Well, the Bible I read tells me that I can enjoy heaven on earth now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ain't living heaven on earth now, and it seems like hell now, then where's the God in you? I had to sit down with a couple of my clients the other day. And it never ceases to amaze me, how people, will stand, and speak scripture and talk about, the word of God. And then when they get in a stressful situation, man, they put that word aside and they'll cuss you out. They be ready to do some violence to you. And I'm saying like, well, the word says that how can you love me whom you have not seen? but then despise your brother that you do see.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you profess to be a child of God and you sit here acting like this? And he had to sit back and he thought about it. He was like, you know what, you're right. You know, and sometimes we just get so wrapped up that we don't think. You know, our emotions begin to run wild and we just forget about everything, right? But understand that you was created for a purpose and a reason.
That's right.
Understand that no matter what goes on in your life, that you was created with a good end in mind. So therefore, you don't get tricked and get wrapped up in emotional stuff because you know that it's going to work out for your good. See, if I would have just allowed those foreclosure to define me, I wouldn't be at where I'm at in life. I would play that religious game. Well, maybe it wasn't meant. Maybe that was just my flesh. You know, maybe I missed God. You know, that's a lie from the pit of hell. God done did his part. It's just a matter of me willing to do my part. Okay? So, don't believe all that other stuff. Just know that in your heart that there's a desire. If there's a desire in your heart for more, that there's a reason why that is there. It's because you was created for that. Now, you just have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone to do something different. Entrepreneurs versus employee. Entrepreneur earns income even while sleeping. Entrepreneurs earn passive income versus employee only earns income during working hours. Employees earn active income, no work, no pay, on a daily or monthly basis. You know, it's amazing, you know. Now, this is one of my pet peeves because it was always an issue or question on my mind when I was in college. You know, because back then I even wanted to be a business owner. And it always amazed me, you know, the mindset of our people when it comes to black-owned businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I realized also that we're the strongest buying power. And I also realized that if there was a way that we can tap into the black market, that we will become so wealthy that it would be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding all these different dynamics, you know, I'm sitting there like, you know, it's amazing that, you know, come payday, my staff be asking, are we getting paid today? Like, have I ever missed a pay period? And I'm sitting like, what is y'all problem? I said, would y'all stop acting like you fill in the blank?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sitting there like, you know what? They don't trust, even though I've never missed a pay period. It's like they're so dependent on their check.
Yeah.
Because they haven't planned.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they know that they got some checks coming through that if they don't have the money in there, they're going to bounce. You know, I'm sitting like, wow, they're living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, that is a difficult way to live because life happens. We know this, right? And so if a car breaks down, you get a flat tire, you know, anything, you know, unexpected bill, you're ill prepared. And so I'm saying, like, you know what? Not only are we going to do it for the clients, we're going to have to do it for the staff, too.
Yeah.
You know, the training, because it's ridiculous. You know, even the one counselor said, you know what, I need that service. Entrepreneur versus employee. Entrepreneurs have unlimited income opportunities. That's what this represents.
Mm-hmm.
Gives jobs, responsible for making his customers, the public, and his employees happy. Entrepreneur carries a greater responsibility. His income depends on his business stakeholders. You know, I have a staff of about 15 people. And I know that they depend on those checks.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they put their future in my hands, so I respect that. And I accept that responsibility. So with all of that responsibility on me, do you ever see me stressed? Do you ever see me panic? See, I believe that when we are faithful with the little and we show that we're worthy of the much, that God will give us the grace that is sufficient to handle a greater load.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my saying is always, I don't want a lighter load, I just want wider shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Because the greater the load, the greater responsibility, but the greater the reward.
Yes, sir.
So if I say that I want to live a great lifestyle and I'm not willing to carry the load, what am I really saying to myself? I'm lying to myself. And that's one thing I cannot do and will not do is lie to myself. That's why when I sat in the seat, just like you're sitting in, when I first came in this company, and I said I want to make the kind of money of the people up front, and I want to knock Marquise off his throne,
Yeah.
that I had to conquer that fear of being in front of people. Because I wasn't going to lie to myself. I'm not going to tell myself that I want something that I see somebody else have and not willing to do at least what they're doing to get it. So what do employees do? They have a fixed and safe limited compensation. Finds a job, responsible for making his employer happy. His compensation depends on his employer. Employer pays him whether business gains or loses. Because why? Because they have a fixed income, whether business is good or bad. But just like an employee, when business is good, they shouldn't ask for a raise. When business is bad, they're not going to say, well, cut my pay. So when they see that the boss is living this lavish lifestyle, they shouldn't get jealous or envious.
Amen.
Because they have not created the system that puts them in a position to receive the lion's share. Where we're saying for $25 or $249.99, you can now position yourself to begin to receive the lion's share if you're willing to go out there and commit and do the work. That's why I'm so excited about what we have, because over the years of me pursuing my passion of being an entrepreneur, trust me, it cost me a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And you just heard me say, well, I already know that I'm going to receive checks for over $50,000 a month.
Yes,
And for what? For doing something that I believe in to create that passive income. Now, yes, my business does that now through my treatment program, but it's taken me years, decades to get to this point where I know it's not going to take that long through my JMG business. 5, for entrepreneurs. Take long hours of hard work during startup. Entrepreneurs undertake their passion. They invest hard work and patience for a task they believe is worthy. Entrepreneurs give himself or herself enough rest and vacation when his enterprise becomes stable. Employees take regular hours of work in his employment life. Employees usually do routine tasks, takes an annual limited rest and vacation allowed by his employer. So they're restricted. Don't you want the flexibility to being able to say, you know what, I deserve to go on a vacation. You know, I woke up this morning with that thought, and like, you know what, I want to go somewhere. So I want to go to Hawaii. You want to go to Hawaii? Hawaii would be nice, wouldn't it? You know, and I'm going to make that happen in the next few weeks. Taxed on his income after deducting his expenses. An entrepreneur can claim as deductions to his taxable income, his allowable expenses related to his business. Now, for no other reason, say you come across a person that just can't get it. For their own benefit, they ought to understand the tax advantages. So for that same $25, now they become a business owner. So for $25, $14.95 a month, now they can write off meals, travel expenses. If they can afford to go on a vacation, as long as they're talking business on their vacation, they can write off that vacation. You know, they can employ some of their children. You know, so these are some benefits that, you know, you can explain to them by coming in at the 25 and maintaining their website as a business owner. Which the 25 and the $14.95 a month is a write-off. But because they made a decision to plug into a system, now they're gaining other business benefits. Okay? So if they don't even see the benefit of building, you may be able to, you know, increase your customer base by coming to them from that point of view as being a business owner. hey, for $25 and sign up, $14.95 a month, these are the benefits you're going to be able to receive. Now, you just have to keep good records, but for doing that, now you're going to be able to, get more back. Or you're going to be able to go to your employer and say, you know what, deduct less out of my paycheck because at the end of the year, I'm going to get it back anyways. So that way they increase their income, per paycheck basis. Okay? So rather than having $200, maybe they have $100 come out the check. Now they can do more with that increased income in their pocket up front. And how, most people live is that, at the end of the year, I'm going to file my taxes and get my return. But that's money that came out their check anyways. So number 8, take the risk, become accountable to it. Entrepreneurs are revolutionary and innovators. Employees stay in his so-called comfort zone. Haven't we already talked about that? But can we really call it a comfort zone when aggressive aggravation is almost a natural phenomenon? So again, people will say that, I'm too busy. I don't need anything more on my plate. But at the same time, they're complaining that they're not getting enough, that they're not living at the level. That's what we're saying, that they have to step outside of their comfort zone in order to experience something different. That's why I need you guys to really grasp this concept, employer versus employee mindset. Because you have to have a business owner mindset to be in this business. That's what we want to empower you with, because we're looking to develop leaders. Because as Brother Paulie shared a vision, as more and more states are opened up, how can we, if we can't get a leader to take over this training and the Tuesday meeting, how can we be somewhere else training your organization in other cities? Okay? Number 9, employer hires and fires an employee. When an entrepreneur has an incompetent and irresponsible employee, he can always fire him or her through a due process. Number 10, gives the jobs. The entrepreneur always at the enterprise. He is the job interviewer. An employee is hired and fired by an employer. When an employee has an incompetent and irresponsible employer who happens to be the one providing his living, it's hard to just leave him. Employees finds a job. The employer applicant or employee applicant is the job interviewee. Number 11, an entrepreneur is a written instructor of the memorandum. Can also be the owner of the similar businesses. Entrepreneurs can expand their companies, such as by franchising and sharing the slices of its success to others. An employee is a reader and follower of the memorandum. Can't be a worker in other similar employers. Employees are typically restricted by a clause of competition agreement. That is, he is not allowed to share his skills, talents, education, and knowledge to the competitors of his employer. 13, don't require educational degrees to become an entrepreneur. The state of Minnesota required me to give my own job description. And I'm like, I want to write a job description, executive director, William Lockett. Any successors assigned by William Lockett. In order to be the executive director of Victories in Faith, you have to be William Lockett, in other words. If you ain't William Lockett, then it's a person appointed by William Lockett. Simple as that, okay? So we can see successful entrepreneurs who are college dropouts. Some of them are already billionaires. 14, acquires wealth at younger ages for entrepreneurs. Number 13, for employees, requires a higher educational background to get a higher position. Employees are exposed to educational discrimination, acquires wealth on retirement after long years of service, except, of course, if you are a key employee in Microsoft, Apple, or Google, then you retire fat. But if you're not, guess what? This is the plan that you're following, okay? Which is fine for the time being, but if this is the plan you're following, you must implement a new plan, okay? It's simple as that. Because we're planning to win, right?
That's right.
We don't have our head stuck in the sand, do we?
Nope.
So therefore, we must plan to win and plan to do something in addition to what we're currently doing. So number 15, creates a system he likes and follows it. 16, maximize the utilization of his talents and skills. This is where the passion, enthusiasm, and happiness starts. See, that's why I never tired. You know, I get up excited, refreshed every day. Why? Because I'm doing something I enjoy, that I love doing. You know, so therefore, I'm always energized. You know, it's such a joyful feeling. You know, and that's something that I believe that we all should experience. So if you're not experiencing that feeling when you wake up in the morning, begin to feel it. Why? Because you're working on something. You may be here right now, but get energized because you're working on something. So therefore, your mindset, your attitude is, you know what, I'm a business owner. I have a system that works. All I need to do is commit to it and work the plan. So I realize that it's just a matter of one day to wake up and I'll be at that destination. Because pretty much this is the trade-off. So if you're telling me that all I need to do is find 3 good people to help them find 3 good people, keywords good people, and over the next 3 to 5 years, that I'm in a position to make this kind of money, I'd rather commit to this process because at least I have the potential and a greater opportunity for a better lifestyle. I mean, because this is my mother's reality right here. She's worked 25 years to receive $1,500 a month. And that's not enough. That's why she now works for me.